Hi guys, well it's been quite a while, I haven't done a video for a little while. There's another video that's coming. I've basically got so much footage that I've been shooting. So much stuff's been kind of happening, I just haven't made a vlog basically, and there's just a load of footage. So that one's coming soon, which will probably give a little bit more context to what I'm actually doing, but I want to show you this anyway because it's actually pretty cool. So I've got hold of a couple of these. These are basically Bosch power tool batteries. This is a 36 volt battery, 6 amp hour capacity. So quite interesting. When I came across these, I was like, "Oh, this looks quite good actually for maybe like for last mile electric vehicles, or you know, the e-bike could possibly do something with that. You know, maybe a few of them kind of paralleled and series together. You could actually do that. But the neat thing about these is they've got this kind of like cooling kind of technology where the charger actually blows cold air from this little vent here into the battery. So these are like proper heavy duty batteries. So I've got a couple of them hot off the charger. These are around about 42 volts. So I think it's like 41.7. So they're obviously doing something kind of clever to not make sure that they've completely fully charged up to 4.2 a cell. So doing a bit more research about these are actually, I think, inside here are the Samsung 30Q cells, which are, as we all know from the other e-bike battery, that I've got a very, very high power cells. So I thought, two of these, 84 volts, 6 amps, what could go wrong? That's a pretty meaty amount of power for something so small. Two of these stacked together. And they've also got obviously built-in BMSs, so potentially nothing can go wrong, because you know, the charging side is going to be looked after, and also the discharge side is going to be looked after. But these things are designed for just ridiculous SDS drills and things like that. So my thoughts were that obviously, you know, those sort of drills and stuff, they take a lot of current. So anyway, I thought I'd give these a test on the quad bike and also the e-bike. But yeah, long story, but the e-bike is out of action at the moment, and all will become clear from the other video. But basically, yeah, I'm going to stick two of these in series onto the quad bike, and yeah, I'll show you what happens. So one of the hurdles you're going to face when you want to use these sort of battery for anything other than kind of power tools, stuff like that, is you're going to have to find a way to connect up these terminals. Now, I've thought of lots of different ways of doing this. There are different, you know, you can buy like second-hand broken drills and just cut the bottoms off, things like that. I've seen that done before on Endless Sphere Forum, stuff like that. Or also, I've actually found like a USB charger that clicks on the top of here. It's actually the 18 volt batteries, but you can still use it because I think they're the same types. Anyway, they'll be coming tomorrow, so I'll be able to see, you know, how they work. But the idea is you could just rip them apart and just use the terminals. They're like super cheap, so it's not really any loss if it doesn't work. But the other way of doing it is if you just get a piece of wire. I got this off of YouTube as well, like this tip. If you just get a kind of normal piece of wire and basically solder the end, tin the end, and then just hammer it flat, I don't know if you can see that, then it makes an absolutely perfect connector, which is really tight fit into the terminals. So you can see if you just push that in on there, you know, basically that is tight as you're ever going to get any connector really. When these batteries first turned up like a couple of days ago, I tried loads of things like different terminals and soldering things on and using metal and all this stuff, and actually this works the best. So hats off to that YouTuber for that tip. So we're going to series two of these together, so minus to positive there. Box, which is actually a waterproof mains box. It looks a bit like a Breville toaster or something, but it's basically like a waterproof box and you put a mains adapter in there. Anyway, this was for something else, but it's perfect for this job. Get your two batteries and just stick them in there. There you go. So it's all super simple. You can just, you know, plug and play. You can close this up. Obviously, I've got to connect the other cables to the main leads of the quad. But basically, all this is sealed. You know, you're not going to get water in there, and everything's pretty good. These are probably kind of water resistant. Obviously, not the top bit, but I suppose the bottom's probably going to be kind of splash proof because they're designed for tools out in the field. So on the quad bike, I've basically got the same. I've just tinned the ends of those and then just hammered them down, and that gives you another couple of terminals to go straight into the battery. And this box conveniently just fits right in there, so it's absolutely perfect. Now you might notice when I connected that, no spark. The reason for that is because I've actually disconnected the main lead, because I don't want to basically start pulverising the connectors on these batteries for obvious reasons. perfect. Ready for the spark? Not too much of one. This is going to be fun. Right, you ready, guys? Noticeably quicker, probably like another, I don't know, nearly 5 miles an hour quicker. It's crazy. It feels so quick because it's so small. It feels more responsive as well. I don't know if this speed controller was actually designed to be run on like 84 volts or something. So it's making like a couple of kilowatts now, so that is just, yeah, that's just so much more fun than before. So the amp hours, never even done 1 amp hour. That's the difference between having a little bit higher voltage. But I think it's peaking about 35 amps, but obviously the voltage is a little higher now. So, I mean, it always was 35 amps. I think that's what the speed controller is actually, you know, preset to, probably like with a sort of internal shunt or something like that. To be honest, you know, you don't really need that more than 35 amps if you're running higher voltage. What you noticed before is that it would slow down quite dramatically when it was on a lower voltage with 35 amps, because obviously the voltage drop of the battery a little bit. But yeah, this is just so much fun now, so much fun. These batteries seem to be holding a pretty strong voltage as well. 80.6 volts now. We've just obviously let it rise a little bit, but you know, generally under load, I don't know what it's actually saying. Maybe I can see from here. Voltage minimum 70. Don't know if that's this run. It's a maximum 36. Voltage minimum 70.9. Anyway, let's carry on. These evenings, amazing. Okay, we have a cutout. Looks like something's cut out, though we can't have, because the actual batteries haven't stopped. Must have just caught the safety switch. Oh, had me worried for a minute. I was thinking, why has it stopped? Because the voltage is still there, so everything's good that way. So it's drawing pretty much 35 amps continuously on this kind of field, because obviously it's using a bit more torque to actually get over the bumps and maintain its top speed. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how warm the batteries actually are after this little run, because this is quite a hard one. Motor temperature. I've got a temperature sensor on the motor. That is just not even moving. It's quite a cold day, but that's just not even moving. You can feel a bit of warmth there, but there's just nothing. Right, I'm back. I've only done 3.4 amp hours, so not a great deal at all. And I was out for, I don't know, I've done a couple of miles, so you know, it's not enough power to do like massive distance, but it is a lot of power. All right, let's get these out then and see what the situation is inside the battery box. A number of times I've done this with lipos and they've just been like a steaming pile of puffy cells. Oh, there's another drill battery there connected to a little mini air compressor. Let's take a look inside here then. Yeah, they're warm, but they're not hot, that's for sure. Still sitting at 73 volts. So we're not really down to like kind of, you know, it wasn't discharged right down. So it was only a few amp hours anyway, so you wouldn't expect it to be, them to sort of reach ridiculous temperature. But 30 amps, you know, pretty much, I'd say average 20 amps and then like peaks of 35. So state of charge, 1 bar, 1 bar. I don't know how accurate these things are really, but we know that we've definitely got a little bit more juice in there. Right, so let's stick it on charge. It's actually, you can feel the warmth on it, but it's definitely not hot. Right, let's get that on the charger. I really love the way this is just so convenient. Like, just the power tool batteries are just designed to just be used. No messing around, just plug it in. So you can hear the fan. So that fan, I think, just blows air through that little grill there, and then it goes up into the. You can actually feel any air coming out of it. But basically, that just sort of cools it down. So we've got nothing suspect there. That's just basically flashing away. Now, when it flashes rapidly, apparently it's like an 80% charge. So these batteries can get up to 80% charge in. So let's have a look at the charging manual. So 6 amp hour, it's saying the 80% charge can be done in 35 minutes or 100% charge in 55. It's saying here, flashing green battery charge indicator. The rapid charging procedure is signalled by a flashing green battery charge indicator. So, you know, when it starts flashing, that's reached 80%. Now I've charged these batteries a couple of times, and that light, it kind of basically just, it flashes and then it kind of slows down, the flash slows down. So if you're going to run 2 in series, it's going to be difficult to see, you know, when it hits 80%, because you don't want kind of slightly different batteries, you want both of them really fully charged. So it'd be nicer if it actually, I don't know, if it would just stop, you could have it stop at 80%, but I don't know, we'll have to see how that works. But yeah, really impressed with this charger. It's quite small, and this is charging at 8 amps as well, so you know, that's pretty good. I'm going to get another one. I'm going to get another charger because I've got 2 batteries, and I want to charge 2 at the same time, because this is really good. And if they hold up like this is just awesome. You know, because I really like this kind of modular battery approach, where you could perhaps just have like a bunch of batteries, the same battery in bricks like these, and then just basically connect them together in certain ways to get what you want. Because it's all very well having like a really powerful e-bike. You know, the battery in the e-bike is like a 30 amp hour battery at 84 volts. It's a huge amount of power to be carried around with you all the time. And sometimes you don't really want that, you don't need it. So you end up with a really heavy bike because of it. You can't lift the bike around, and you know, upstairs, things like that. So I like the idea of having small battery packs. I mean, it's kind of nothing new. We've done this with LiPo batteries before. Just, you know, buy a bunch of Hobby King LiPos and connect them together as you see fit. But they're just not reliable. You know, Hobby King batteries are just not great for electric vehicles. I mean, for testing and sort of power freaks and things like that, it's fine. Unless you baby them and you look after them, and maybe, you know, because somebody said in the comments of another video, one of my other videos, that they've basically got 1 battery pack of lipos, and they just kind of, you know, use that in multiple bikes, and they kind of monitor it, you know, nurture it and keep it, make sure it's actually kind of, you know, just basically look after it. And I think if you do that, you're probably okay, you know, you would get away with it. But for people like me, where you're always trying new things, you want to, you know, put a little bit extra power on it. I think these could be really good for the bike, but you've got a limit here on what you can actually draw from them. 40 amps per battery. That's what I've heard, until they start to reach temperatures which is just going to be generally bad for the batteries, the cells inside. Right, I run out of memory on the camera. Yeah, so what I was saying, for the bike, these could be really interesting to use. I know people have done this before. Like, I've read a few websites where people have done this before, but I'm not sure that the battery technology was quite as advanced as it is now when people were sort of doing this. But basically, I think in here you've got a BMS. Obviously, there is a BMS in here looking after the battery to make sure, you know, you're not overheating it, you're not over discharging it, you're not overcharging it, and everything else. So you know, you've got this limiting factor there. But from what I've seen in the quad, I think 35 amps is the maximum, or 36 amps is the maximum we're doing on the quad. And I think the BMS may be like around 40 amps or something like that. So these batteries may just cut out at 40 amps. We haven't. I'll have to try it. I mean, I have to just try and see what happens. But if you could have 4 of these, which basically 2 in parallel, 2 in series, so 2S2P configuration of these batteries, that'd give you 84 volts hot off the charger and 12 amp hours. So that's not a bad amount of power. And for the size of it as well, for 4 of these, it's not going to. It's just small. 4 of these is actually a pretty compact little battery. But what you would need to do, I think, in order for this to work well, what you'd have to do is actually have a way of connecting these batteries and disconnecting them quick from the e-bike or from any vehicle you're going to use. So some kind of adapter that would click on, because it'd just be amazing to. I mean, check this out. Look, this is what I've been thinking. So imagine here on the back of this, maybe if you were to just do 2 batteries. I mean, not saying this is going to be for this bike, but and then you have another one up there, and that'll give you your 74 volts at 6 amp hours, just 2 batteries, which may be enough for some people as a pedal assist. I mean, I could probably do it if I actually pedalled, and I haven't pedalled for a while, but it would make the bike so light as well. So you could actually, I don't know, I just feel like I want to try this. So in an ideal world, you just come back after a ride and just disconnect that, bang it in the charger, and then maybe grab another set and just stick it on and carry on going. I mean, you could have another 2 in the backpack as well. You know, higher amps, maybe not sort of, you know, good for the bike. You'd have to down tune this bike, certainly you'd have to down tune it to you know, something a bit more sensible, like a 40 amp absolute maximum, which, I mean, it's still going to give you a couple of kilowatts, so you know, it's still enough. Yeah, it's just really interesting, just thoughts, processes, and stuff like that. Because the other thing as well is, obviously these batteries are made by a known manufacturer, and you're gonna not have any problem if one goes wrong. You can just send it back. And like I did with the Greenworks lawnmower, I had a problem with the battery. It just wasn't delivering the power it should do. So I just sent it back, and they just sent me another one. So you know, you're not going to get that anywhere else. I mean, strictly the warranty is probably not really, you know, going to cover you using it on an e-bike, but hey, it's a battery and it's a product, and it should deliver what it says on the tin. Anyway guys, it's all food for thought. It's just, you know, throwing stuff out there. Maybe this would be really good for like a kind of lower powered build or something like that. But it's definitely interesting. I mean, there are other things to consider. You've got to consider cost. These batteries are more expensive than if you were to kind of build an 18650 block pack, you know, similar, but you're not getting the casing, you're not getting the design, the BMS, you know, you're not getting a rugged, properly designed battery for that sort of price. I mean, there are these batteries from Green Technologies now, which I looked at. It's basically like a 10S pack, so a 36 volt pack, just 10 cells in a pack with a really smart BMS, and it is amazing BMS. But the limitation is 10 to 15 amps, which just isn't enough, you know, for most of these things. And they're very expensive as well. I think the 36 volt I think it's like 2.7 or 2.9 amp, I don't know what it is, but basically it's like about £140 in the UK for that one battery. So if you're going to buy lots of them to parallel and series together, by the way, there's a really good system for that. It's got multiple leads coming out of the battery, so you can just link them all together. It's a great, really great system, but it's just not enough power for what I'm trying to do anyway. But anyway, I'm going to carry on playing around with this stuff and see where it kind of leads. But I think certainly for the kind of like last mile vehicles, these batteries, drill batteries, the power tool batteries like this are just that's just the way to go. I mean, if I was going to build an electric skateboard or something like that, I probably would just click one of those on the front. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed watching and enjoyed these little shenanigans, and I'll let you know what actually happens with these bad boys. So I'll catch you in the next one, guys.